Electrical installations at locations like county fairgrounds are governed by a complex interplay of factors. It's important to understand that without specific historical documentation or local jurisdictional information, pinpointing past restrictions is challenging. However, we can discuss the general principles and code requirements that would typically apply to such installations. Firstly, the National Electrical Code, or NEC, serves as the cornerstone for electrical safety in the United States. It's a widely adopted standard, but local jurisdictions often amend or supplement it with their own regulations. These local codes can be more stringent than the NEC, reflecting specific regional concerns or priorities. Secondly, temporary electrical installations, which are common at fairgrounds, receive specific attention in the NEC. Article 590 addresses the requirements for temporary installations, covering aspects such as acceptable wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and bonding. These requirements are designed to ensure the safety of both workers and the public during the limited time the installation is in place. Thirdly, the nature of a county fairground environment introduces unique safety considerations. There's typically a high volume of pedestrian traffic, including children, making it crucial to minimize the risk of electrical shock. Furthermore, the presence of livestock or agricultural equipment can pose additional hazards. Wet or damp conditions are also common, increasing the potential for electrical faults. When examining potential past restrictions, it's crucial to consider the historical context. The NEC undergoes revisions every 3 years, and each edition incorporates new technologies, addresses emerging safety concerns, and clarifies existing requirements. Therefore, an electrical installation from 20 years ago would have been subject to a different set of rules than one installed today. Local amendments to the NEC also change over time. To determine if specific restrictions existed, one would need to consult the relevant edition of the NEC and any local electrical codes in effect at the time of the installation. This information may be available from the local building department or historical archives. Furthermore, it's important to differentiate between code requirements and best practices. While the NEC establishes minimum safety standards, electrical professionals often implement additional measures to enhance safety and reliability. These practices may not be explicitly mandated by code but are considered prudent in certain situations. For instance, using ground fault circuit interrupters, or DFCIs, in wet locations is a common best practice, even if not strictly required for every application. In the context of temporary installations, grounding and bonding are particularly critical. Grounding provides a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source, facilitating the operation of overcurrent protective devices like circuit breakers and fuses. Bonding ensures that all metallic parts of the electrical system are at the same potential, minimizing the risk of shock. The NEC specifies detailed requirements for grounding and bonding temporary installations, including the use of ground rods, equipment grounding conductors, and bonding jumpers. Regular inspections are also essential for maintaining the safety of electrical installations at county fairgrounds. These inspections are typically conducted by the local electrical inspector, who verifies compliance with the NEC and local codes. Inspectors may also identify potential hazards or code violations that need to be addressed. The permitting process is another important aspect of electrical safety. In most jurisdictions, a permit is required before commencing any electrical work. The permit application process allows the local building department to review the plans and specifications for the installation, ensuring that it meets code requirements. The permit also authorizes the electrical inspector to conduct inspections during and after the installation. The type of equipment used at the county fairground can also influence electrical requirements. For example, amusement rides and attractions have their own specific safety standards, which may be enforced by state or local agencies. These standards often address aspects such as electrical safety, mechanical integrity, and operational procedures. Food vendors also have unique electrical needs, typically requiring dedicated circuits for refrigeration equipment, cooking appliances, and lighting. The NEC contains specific requirements for wiring methods used in commercial kitchens and food preparation areas. Considering the potential for changes in electrical usage from year to year, flexibility is important in temporary installations. This can be achieved through the use of properly sized and protected portable power distribution units and flexible wiring methods. However, it's crucial to ensure that all temporary wiring is installed in a safe and workmanlike manner, avoiding hazards such as exposed conductors, damaged insulation, and overloaded circuits. Another critical aspect of electrical safety at fairgrounds is public awareness. Patrons should be informed about potential electrical hazards and instructed to avoid contact with electrical equipment. Warning signs should be posted in areas where electrical hazards may exist, and qualified personnel should be available to answer questions and address concerns. The use of qualified electrical contractors is also essential. These contractors have the training, experience, and equipment necessary to install and maintain electrical systems safely and in compliance with code requirements. They should also be licensed and insured, providing protection for both the fairground operator and the public. Regular training for fairground staff is also important. Staff members should be trained to recognize potential electrical hazards, respond to emergencies, and report any problems to qualified personnel. This training should include topics such as lockout/tagout procedures, first aid, and CPR. Emergency procedures should also be in place in the event of an electrical accident. These procedures should include steps for shutting off power, providing first aid, and contacting emergency services. A designated emergency contact person should be identified and readily available. In summary, determining whether specific electrical restrictions existed at the county fairgrounds in the past requires consulting historical documentation, local codes, and potentially interviewing individuals involved with past installations. General electrical safety considerations, temporary installation requirements from the NEC, grounding, bonding, inspections, permits, qualified contractors, and public awareness are all vital components of ensuring a safe electrical environment at county fairgrounds. Remember to always consult with qualified electrical professionals for specific code interpretations and design guidance. It's also important to note that the specific requirements for electrical installations at fairgrounds can vary depending on the type of event, the duration of the event, and the local jurisdiction. For example, a small agricultural fair may have different requirements than a large multi-day music festival. Furthermore, the presence of stages, sound systems, and lighting can also influence the electrical requirements. These types of equipment typically require specialized wiring and grounding to ensure safety and prevent interference. The NEC also addresses the use of generators in temporary installations. Generators must be properly sized to handle the load, and they must be grounded and bonded in accordance with code requirements. It's also important to ensure that generators are located in a well-ventilated area to prevent the accumulation of carbon monoxide. The use of arc fault circuit interrupters, or FSIs, is another important safety measure. FSIs are designed to detect and interrupt electrical arcs, which can be a common cause of fires. The NEC requires FSIs in certain locations, such as bedrooms and living areas, and they may also be recommended for use in other areas where electrical hazards may exist. Surge protection is also important for protecting sensitive electronic equipment from damage caused by voltage surges. Surge protective devices, or SPDs, can be installed at the service entrance or at individual circuits to protect against surges caused by lightning, power outages, or other events. Regular maintenance is essential for ensuring the continued safety and reliability of electrical installations. This maintenance should include inspections, testing, and repairs as needed. A qualified electrical contractor should perform the maintenance, and records should be kept of all work performed. When planning an electrical installation at a county fairground, it's important to consider the long-term needs of the facility. While temporary installations are often necessary, it may be more cost-effective and safer in the long run to install permanent wiring and equipment. This can reduce the need for temporary installations and minimize the risk of electrical hazards. Finally, it's important to stay up to date on the latest electrical codes and standards. The NEC is revised every 3 years, and local codes are also subject to change. By staying informed, you can ensure that your electrical installations are safe and compliant with all applicable regulations. The overall goal is to provide a safe and reliable electrical supply for all users of the fairground, while minimizing the risk of electrical hazards. It is also important to consider the environmental impact of electrical installations. Using energy-efficient lighting and equipment can reduce energy consumption and minimize the carbon footprint of the fairground. Recycling electrical waste, such as wires and lamps, can also help to protect the environment. Proper disposal of batteries and other hazardous materials is also essential. By taking these steps, we can ensure that electrical installations at county fairgrounds are not only safe but also environmentally responsible. One more thing to be mindful of is accessibility. Electrical equipment should be located in areas that are accessible to qualified personnel for maintenance and repairs, but not accessible to the general public. This can help to prevent accidents and ensure that the equipment is properly maintained. Furthermore, it is important to consider the aesthetics of electrical installations. While safety is the primary concern, it is also desirable to have electrical equipment that is visually appealing and blends in with the surrounding environment. This can be achieved through the use of enclosures, landscaping, and other aesthetic treatments. In conclusion, electrical installations at county fairgrounds are subject to a wide range of regulations and considerations. By following the NEC local codes and best practices, we can ensure that these installations are safe, reliable, and environmentally responsible. Remember to always consult with qualified electrical professionals for specific code interpretations and design guidance. That should ensure that everyone is safe.